And here is our last section for Chapter 6, Section 6.4 on the development and aging of the integumentary system. Here are your learning objectives. And we'll first start with development. This is going to start around week 7 when you are in the womb. The ectoderm that we learned about in our tissues chapter is going to form a layer of squamous epithelium. So you could see that taking place over here. This is becoming periderm and the basal layer. The basal layer is going to form all of our epidermal layers. As we know, mitosis will take place there. And by week 21, we'll see a development of stratum corneum, and you can start to see the friction ridges taking place. The periderm is eventually going to slough off, and we see that mixes with sebum to produce a coating on the fetus known as vernix caseosa. So you could see that on this newly born baby over here. It's that white creamy substance on their body. And then the development that takes place around week 11, we see that the dermis is going to be derived by the mesoderm. So that's what we're really seeing, where we have mesenchyme and the light pink layers over here. And then we could see that they eventually will differentiate into the papillary and reticular layers. By week 32, which this is what the baby looks like in the womb at week 32. The baby will develop fingernails and toenails. And then weeks 9 and 12, or weeks 9 through 12, we'll start to see that hair follicles are going to appear, and pockets of cells and hair buds will develop. And by week 20, we will see that the sweat and sebaceous glands will appear on the palms and soles of the feet, and later in other regions of the skin. Now, as we age, we start to see that our skin is going to change. We see a reduced number and activity of the stem cells, where skin repair processes are also going to slow because we don't have that mitosis taking place as often. And thin skin is less likely to protect from trauma. So you could see here in this young person, we've got thicker layers, whereas in each skin, they are thinner so that they are less likely to protect. And we'll see in the dermis, we will have fewer collagen fibers. Our elastic fibers are going to start to lose their elasticity, and we start to get crease lines that are going to form wrinkles. Our immune response is also going to decrease because we will have few dendritic cells within our stratum spinosum, our stratum granulosum, and our dermis layers. And our hair follicles are going to produce thinner hair or none at all. So they are less likely to keep us warm and will not help as much to keep pathogens out. We also have effects of UV radiation, where we'll have damages in the DNA in our epidermal cells, which will accelerate aging and is the predominant factor in skin cancer. Here you could see a photo of a woman who was a truck driver, and you could see that part of her face that was facing the window that received more sunlight has wrinkled a lot more than the other side. And here's a woman in which you can see her complexion already has these freckles that have been produced due to sun damage, but this is using a UV light in order to see the actual damage that has taken place here. And here are some forms of skin cancer. This is the most common type of cancer and can typically be found on the head and neck. And if you are fair-skinned, you are at higher risk. Now let's do a little clinical view on Botox and wrinkles. Botox is a treatment for wrinkles that is caused by facial muscle expression, and the toxin that is injected into the muscle is going to be Clostridium botulinum. That is going to be a toxin that will block the nerve impulses to our facial muscles, And what it does will decrease and eliminate the wrinkles that can take place within our facial expressions. The Botox injected into the specific facial muscles typically are in the region of the forehead, especially right in between the eyebrows here, but it is a temporary effect, so you will have to eventually go back in and have the injections done again to paralyze the muscles. Eventually the muscles will regain their function if another injection is not added, and like I said, you have to repeat that procedure over and over again. Kim Kardashian here is very well known for getting multiple injections. This picture here is probably the most famous, in which she's trying to cry and cannot really move her face to do so. So that is it for our Chapter 6 video lecture. If you have any questions, please let me know.